Hey guys, what's up? So I'm going to the Rob Chapman Clinic at Guitar Center in Phoenix. So come on in, let's check it out. Here we go.
Good question. So the question is, do I prefer to write on my own and then present it to people I'm working with, or do I prefer to write as a band? And so when I write music, it is a mixture of things occurring. The first thing is, I never sit down to write music. I don't go, okay, got another 4 songs to write for this album, let's go. Yeah, probably start the 4 chord. And then I'll go to a 5. That's mixolydian. Back to the 4, so Dorian. Okay, right, now I need a riff. I don't do that, ever. I get a coffee, I put on some Ingve, or some Alison Krauss, if I'm feeling emotional, and I want to be destroyed by amazing technicality playing. And then I just jam, and I'll get a groove going. I'll just be playing some blues or something, anything at all, and then I'll do something that will have a sound, and then it'll unfold and expand, and I'll work on it until it's almost like closing my eyes and I see this giant painting, and this thing I've created is like the bottom left-hand corner of this painting that's revealing itself to me. And it's like a bit of a story that I'm trying to feel. And it helps me to see the rest of the picture as I'm gradually working on it.
All right, so here I am holding one of his guitars. And this is a thin line Tele style. This is the ML3 Pro. It has a really nice satin finish on the back. But you can see right up here in the headstock area, it gets real nice and glossy, so it's sort of a transition between the two. And feels pretty lightweight. Got these blonde P90s in it. And 3-way switch. Neck through. Super nice.
So that's the Marty Friedman Japanese pentatonic. It's basically, it is a root, a flat 2, a 4, a 5, a major 6. And then the Egyptian scale goes. So I combined the 2 to make Japiption, which is this. When you hear Dorje, a lot of the riffs are made from this creation that I invented, because you can take it and take a scale and make chords. Not a lot of people seem to know that piece of information, but you can take a scale, take out a bunch of the notes and make chords from them. So for example, loads with it. You can just, it's so many eerie, strange, weird sounds contained within the scale. And I loved it, so I thought I'd share it with you. So you all know how that scale. You're welcome. It's the Japiption, Rob Chapman owned this trademark scale. Yeah. Colours and textures may differ from appearance, batteries not included.
Yeah, which one you got there? What is that thing?
I got a Ghost Fret. It's really light. It has pickups and strings and wood. There you go.
What do you think about it? You like that thing?
Yeah, big fan of it.
Cool. Think he's going to sign that for you? You got a Sharpie with you?
I do.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
Let's see. Sign that one for you, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Any chance to make a red ML2 in the future? Yeah, absolutely. And what will probably happen is that, oh, there's really loads of you now. You've all like expanded at the back and everything. Hello, new people. What we will normally do now is what other guitar companies do, which is bring out differing colors or tweak hardware on existing models. Because we've launched a whole new range, which was the stupidest thing ever. It was so hard, it almost killed my company. People were just like, are you kidding me? You know, there were 4 of us and we didn't even have an office. It was mad.
You're like, more guitars?
Yeah, no, really, yeah, whole range. All of them, 20, 30 guitars. We need more. Make 1,000 cappuccinos, bring me the best one. Cut my milk. We can't cut it. Nonsense, freeze it. No one else is going to get that reference. It's fine. Okay, good. Someone did. So yeah, we'll offer you a vote on various colours, and then if enough people choose red, we'll maybe red guitar, which will be fun. I like red. That's a red guitar. It was made in England, and it belongs to my friend Matt Hornby, who's not here. Yeah.
All right, so this is that one-of-a-kind ML3. And I don't know anything about it. Other than Rob was saying that he has 3 or 4 guys that worked on this thing. And I can see we got a Wilkinson bridge in it. 3-way switch. But we got some hip shot open locking tuners, all in gold. But maybe we can ask Rob some questions about it. We'll get up there.
Do I have any tips or tricks on recording guitar amp tones? So I'm going to name drop, but not in an arrogant way, just in a way I worked with a guy. So I was incredibly lucky to work with a guy called Eddie Kramer. And Eddie Kramer produced and engineered bands like the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, Steve Vai, and me. At Abbey Road, which was mind-blowing and life-changing. And in fact, he fell out with a band I was working with, but liked me, kicked them out the studio and said, Rob, I'm going to teach you a few things now. One of them is remove that band immediately. And the other is, here's how you record guitar tones. And in fact, here's how you record as a guitarist. And he took me through the most ridiculous things you never thought of, like breathing differently as you play, standing differently as you record, rolling up carpet and using it to create tunnels from kick drums and all sorts of stuff. But the coolest thing I learned about recording guitar amps, valve amps, I should add, is 2 things. Don't ever forget these 2 things, okay? Because they're really cool. Number 1, if you're going to record something really important, crank your amp, give it 5 minutes, and then record the hiss from each speaker you're going to be using. The speaker with the loudest hiss is the most responsive, and therefore the one that you would likely mic up. That's great. I love that. It's so cool. The second thing is, when you're close micing an amp, a lot of people would tend to, work out where it is, and then, back and forth a little bit and get it close. But Eddie always said, whenever you got it right, just bring it back the length of something I'm not going to talk about. roughly 6 inches.
On a good day.
And then, or you do that and then bring it back. And then what you get is, because if you're isolating one little part of the cone, you're picking up a certain spectrum of frequency. If you bring it back, the spread of your mic, I'm using terminology because people don't understand mics and things, but you're picking up a wider spectrum. You get more air and more wood and more room in the sound. And this is to avoid having to use multiple microphones, because back in the 60s, you didn't want to have 2 microphones not perfectly level, causing you problems with the sound waves. And you wanted 1 microphone if possible, although sometimes they play with that as a trick. So you bring the mic back. And that was, and so now I always bring the mic back a little bit more than I think I should, and it always sounds better. Although when I'm on tour, Hannah just sets up my mic and it always sounds great.
All right, what are we looking at here?
We are looking at the ML3 BIA. It's a new Chapman guitar model that just came out that we're checking out here at the Chapman Guitar Experience. I don't know, is this modeled after a bare knuckle, you think?
It is a bare knuckle.
It is? Yeah, these look really cool. He's just got a Wilkinson trim right here that looks like it's at a little angle with those knife edges. I like that. Oh, and check it out. It's got a brass block in the back, too. That's cool. I've heard lots of good things about
Adds
this.
sustain.
Yep, adds more sustain. More
What's the wood
clarity.
on the neck?
I think it's an ebony neck right here. Not too sure. What do you think that is?
That's Paduke.
Maduke?
Paduke. Like the Duke. It's Paduke. P-A-Duke.
We got a nice little revere here with the frill. That's pretty cool. I love these tuners here, the open hip shot tuners.
Right, those are popular.
Here's there. And lumen lays too.
What are they?
Lumen lays. These will light up when you're on stage. That way you can see everything when a dark stage when you're playing. Looks really cool though.
Fun times.
Definitely.
So tips and tricks on warming up.
Lesson line 2.
Lesson line 2, please. Loads. I will say. I don't want to say this because I want you to warm up, but I don't really warm up anymore. But the thing is, I'm really soft all the time, really relaxed, which is why I'm kind of fast. I'm not using strength, I'm using softness, something that I learned from years and years of studying Chinese martial arts. I'm just really soft and I'm serious. And even how I hold the pick, it's really soft. I don't grip it hard, so that the pick is moving in my fingers while I do that. It's just, I'm not holding things rigidly. And while I'm playing, everything is just soft all the time. I have my setup where you'll see you can play this guitar afterwards, I don't mind. It's got a kind of medium high action, so I'm not, I haven't got a low action and like 8 gauge strings, but I'm very soft all the time. If you are soft and you're healthy, your muscles are full of blood, everything's good, you get a bit, excited before a gig, you're kind of there. You can over warm up sometimes and then cause tendonitis. And by over warm up, I mean put a metronome on and just sit there for a half an hour. I've got to be fast, man. Rick Graham's really quick, so I've got to be faster than Rick Graham, Rob Chapman combined. It's not about being fast. Fast is an expression, But if you want to warm up, I would warm up things that are more musical, like bending and vibrato. So I would practice targeting a slide bend. So for example, I'm going to aim for this. That one to bend. It's harder than it looks. Now I'm going to aim for that one. It's a good exercise because you got to trust where it is. When you're playing in a gig, you don't get to see anything normally. Especially if the venue's affordable, like the ones I saw in England, little dank, sticky floored holes with no lighting and bad power. You're lucky if you can see or hear.
All right.
Ironically, I modded this guitar to an inch of its life because of an episode of Rob Chapman. It's right over there.
Right.
And Captain did about 4 years ago, where they had like a modding competition. So Captain went Strat, like a Squire, vintage or classic vibe. And Rob went LTD scalloped frets on an inexpensive one. But so I got this MIM at a Guitar Center on the west side of Phoenix, good deal, for $299 used.
That is a good deal.
Yeah, and then I started modding it, and I did, first thing I did was add a hot rail, and then I did an SSL5 Seymour Duncan stack, classic stack, and then a JB Junior neck pickup. And then from there, Tusk, graphite, but the autographs.
Right.
That started with a show at Joe's Grotto, kind of a poor man's G3 with Jennifer Batten, Andy Timmons, and Uli Roth from the Scorpions.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so my friend that I went with knew the general manager there, so we hung around afterwards and got to meet everybody, and they were nice enough to tag it. So yeah, Andy Timmons, Uli Roth, Jennifer Batten. And
all right, so let's do it. This one here.
Uli.
Okay.
Andy faded now because of my wrist.
Yeah, that's.
And then Jennifer Batten's here. So.
And then we got Rob Chapman right here under the bridge.
Rob Chapman there. And then the next thing I did was a few months ago was Kenny Wayne Shepherd was in town.
Oh wow.
And the show after that was Stu Ham was playing at Joe's Grotto again.
Wow.
And then I got Stu Ham's autograph, same manager, so that's his autograph there. So that's Stu Ham, the bassist from Joe Satriani.
Right.
Oh, and then 2008, I was backstage for Joe Satriani. And so that was my birthday, so he was nice enough to tagged the shirt. So that same shirt. Anyway, so from there, then it goes
That's
to.
he drew a little picture of a guitar on there.
Yeah, he's stuck around a little bit.
I have a Stuham bass in my shop.
Do you?
Yeah, the made in Mexico version.
Oh, I bet it's killer, huh? Yeah. And then 6 months ago, Kenny Wayne Shepherd rolled into town. I picked up at the casino. Yeah, I picked up a general admission ticket for $20. And then for an extra $100 I saw online, you got to do a meet and greet, T-shirt, CDs, picture, autographs, everything. And so I'm like, oh, dude, for $120 to go like meet. And I should have got. And that's Noah Hunt is right here. That's a singer of Kenny Wayne Shepherd's band right there. I should have gotten the autograph of his drummer.
I saw them.
SRVs,
I saw him when he opened up for Van Halen about 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. And then most recently is last month. Greg Koch was in town. Did the clinic for fishermen over at Sam Ash down the street from here. So
I missed that.
That was great.
I didn't even hear about it.
I wanted to go. Oh my God, he can play. And then now.
And he's a funny guy.
Oh, he's great. It was a great clinic. And then
you upgraded your
I did. This is a Kenny Wayne thing, and my nut and the string tree, locking tuners too.
Right.
So yeah.
Really.
So that's it. The story of this guitar. I play it actually.
Kenny Wayne puts the lefty bridges in, doesn't he?
Yeah. But this is a guitar that gets played, so it's not hanging on a wall or in a case or anything. That's why it's.
Thanks.
So you bet. Thank you guys.
So tips on syncopation, in general rhythm playing, I suppose, synchronization, that kind of thing. So my tip is, with anything that you are performing, the trick is to try and make it feel like it's one thing, as opposed to many things occurring at the same time, isn't it? That's hard. It's really hard. Because especially if do you sing? Okay. If you sing and play guitar, it's a similar thing. You've got these, especially if it's a riff, opposing rhythms, you've got to sing over it, and you don't want to sing on the 1 and the 2, or my bassist will stab me. So you've got all these things happening at the same time, and what I do is I slow it down, and then I imagine it on a bar line as one line of things that's happening, so that it becomes a simple process in my head. Because if I had to think about, oh my God. Something like that, which is a really weird time signature, which without the drums sounds weird. If you have to think about that and sing over it or do anything else, and it's like driving when you're aware of everything. You're like, oh, this feels horrible. Oh no, and you can't switch off. The reason you can't switch off, and you're too aware, is because you haven't put yourself in the story of it. Do you know what I mean? Like when I'm on stage and I'm playing a song, I'm in the beginning of a story. It plays through the movie, and I come out and I've finished my song. I don't have to think about it. If I had to think, I would ruin everything. I would forget every lyric. I would forget every mode. Sometimes I'm a little bit out of it just to remember like the first opening bunch of lyrics, and then I'm in. In fact, on my set list, I have the first 3 words of every song, and that's it.
All right, so you got this thing down at Rainbow. Paul Reed Smith was down there a couple weeks ago.
That's right. I purchased this at Rainbow Guitars in Tucson, Arizona. Had Paul Reed Smith sign it right there.
To Jason.
Yep. And then I had Rob Chapman tonight sign it here.
Wow. Those
And
look
Rob
great on
shredded
there.
on it a little bit. So
Wow.
yeah, he's got his DNA.
Right.
So PRS didn't play it, but I'm happy.
I don't
that
know
Rob
if Paul's
was there.
much of a player.
No. Well, he does, but he was there to give lessons to the kids and stuff. So.
Right.
But yeah, it's a great guitar. It just was made by Fender this year.
Brand
imported
new.
from Japan.
And you got 2 great signatures on it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
My friend did
looking
a custom
guitar.
in a $sign double neck. Pretty
You're going to end up getting, it's got the rally stripe on it.
Yeah, I guess it's a.
So what model is it then?
It's a 50s vintage. Just
I'm
imported
actually
this
getting my 50th birthday's next week. And
this year by Fender.
So
Fender Special Run.
So it's got the vintage style where you where the truss rod adjustment's down in the heel.
Yes,
They're blowing
right here.
out lots of stock right now.
That's how they did it back in the day.
Lower than
Mint pick card,
Beautiful.
Mexican
vintage
models
style,
and
Japanese made
Sterling or
pickups,
any ball types
vintage
that are like,
tremolo.
Right.
$100, $200 more.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
I'm thinking about
And Chapman
And it's 7 1/4 radius. It's the
Right.
same spec as the new Silver
It's got a
Sky.
real
Yeah,
hard sort of radius to it.
yeah. So it's a little bit harder to play.
You don't know.
But yeah, I love it.
Harrison has.
That is nice
Harrison,
looking. Super nice.
Thank you, sir.
There's never enough Mexican food. But my problem is that I'm wheat and dairy intolerant. So I have, but what I didn't realize is that corn tortillas, they're made from corn flour. We don't have that in England. I've never had that before in my entire life. Did you all see the video where I got given 2 of them?
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. It was unreal.
Did you eat both of them?
I ate 1 1/2. I really regretted it later on. Well, the rest of my fellow friends did. No, I love Mexican food. Old cultures make good food. That's the truth, man. That's why we all want cultured food. Italian food, Chinese food, Indian food. In England, we just eat Indian food. England doesn't have any food. England likes to think it has food. Because we have, the Sunday roast, the English breakfast. But none of it's English. It's all from France or from Germany, and it's all made up. Even fish and chips is French. The main thing we eat in England is Indian food. Sorry?
Internal organs.
Oh yeah, we eat a lot of organs, yeah, blood. Not as many as the Chinese though. I went to China and had a hot pot in a part of China, and it was an organ hot pot. So brain, heart, spleen, man. That was so delicious.
Not of the Hammond variety.
Any more questions? Oh, you got a question? Am I going to make a 3/4 scale for kids? Am I going to make a little guitar for children? Yes. Basically, I have a little boy, his name's Theo, he's 20 months old, and I bought him a guitar. I'm looking after it for him until he grows up and he watches enough YouTube to go, wait a minute, Dad, where is this? No, I want to make some smaller guitars, but what I want to do, and I don't know whether you're going to like this or not, but I want to make them really, really good and not cheap. There are loads of little guitars for kids that are cheap and they're rubbish. And I'd like to make, like that 3/4. Why not? And make it really high quality. And then they can play on a nice guitar rather than something, substandard and kind of not great. It doesn't have to be that expensive, but I think it would be so cool to make, semi-hollow 7 strings in a pink. Any more hollow bodies being brought forth from Chapman guitars? Yes. There is a modern hollow body coming out. We're calling it the Obsidian. It is a black one. It has a pair of Alnica 5 humbuckers, and you can bamba cam on it. It is a gent stick. It's insane. But because it's semi-hollow, there's a really cool thing that happens. You get these interesting kind of harmonic overtones on the rhythm playing. And so I'm very lucky. I've got a couple of friends who are in some pretty big metal bands. Gus G I used to play for Ozzy Osbourne. And a guy called Dan who plays in a band called Sixth. Have any of you heard of Sixth? Did like Bland Street Blue? Yeah, okay. So Sixth are they almost invented that style of stuff around the same time as Meshuggah. And he picked up the semi-hollow Obsidian and went, really? And I'm like, yeah, and he goes, this is insane. He was really surprised.
Totally send me a free prototype.
Well, there's only one prototype and it's mine, bro. But you know what we did? I made the prototypes before you all voted on the guitars, and I made them because I had to get them done quickly. I guessed what you would vote on, and I was wrong. And I made one of these with an angled headstock and 24 frets. It's the only one in the world. And it's really kind of cool. It's great owning a guitar company, I'm not going to lie. It is, I do not hate it. I get to phone up people and say, can you just make me a Swamp Ash, Sky Blue, Floyd Rose, 8-string. Give it to me tomorrow. You know what, talking to which, I better show you this. This is a British handmade, mega expensive guitar. It took, I think it took 3.5 months to make this one, which is stupid. It's really stupid. Don't buy it. It's, I'll tell you about the workshop we use because I've got time to do it and it's interesting. So the guys that we use, they're in the east of England. They have a small workshop, they're 3 people, occasionally 4. And everything they do is by hand, or they cut the blanks by CNC, but then it's all done by hand. And nitrocellulose just takes ages to dry, you've got to put 100 coats on and it's just a nightmare. But Matt's been playing it, so it's really out of tune. Such a nice feeling thing to play. It's really pleasant. I kind of, you know what, we're going to let you all play it if you want to afterwards. You can just kind of come to the stage and grab them and play with them and do what you want. Be gentle. This is the only one that exists in the world.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Again?
Well, I feel like I've seen you.
Oh, from over there.
Yeah. Past you.
No, actually, I have a little guitar shop over in Mesa. ZIMM'S Guitars.
That's why I've seen you before.
I do some videos.
You
occasionally
contacted
from
me on Facebook.
No,
No, you contacted me at some point. I've seen ZIMM'S Guitars.
you have?
Yeah, I've seen
huge
you
now,
online. It may just
But,
be that I've seen your.
There you go.
I've seen his videos.
You might have seen one.
I say great things about Chapman guitars.
Well, thank you very much.
When I do videos about it. I love how you're able to put those blinders on and you can tell different necks and different pickups. You can tell if there's if you got a pedal on, you can tell if you're straight into an amp. It's quite amazing.
Most of it is driven by scent.
I did know that when you were doing you have a Gibson guitar in you and they have that scent.
Yeah.
And you shove those earplugs up your nose.
Yeah, I had to be honest and tell them because I felt like I was lying otherwise. I was
that
like,
was really
I can
grody
smell.
when you took them out. They zoomed in on that. They yeah.
Yeah, thanks guys. But I've seen your videos.
That's really cool, man. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for adding content to the world.
There you go,
We need
man.
more YouTubers.
I hope I do good content. I'm working on that.
Nice to meet you in the flesh.
Okay.
In meat space.
Take care, brother.